Welcome, everyone. It's Angelo Robles of Family Office Association and host of the Angelo Robles podcast. Today, we're going to cover the bright future of not safe for work, known as NSFW NFTs, opportunities for creators and investors. It features Lydia Lane, the founder and CEO of CumRocket, joining us all the way from the UK. Lydia, how are you today?
I'm great. Glad to be here. I'm here from our brand new office in England.
Oh, it looks beautiful. So I'll give a little bit of a note before we officially kick off. This is specifically for an 18 and up audience. It is going to be adult, I guess you could say an adult conversation and discussion from a creator and investor perspective in NFTs, and broadly really about the community. And yes, I realize this may not be for everyone. If it's not for everyone, I respect your opinion, and it's probably not something you should watch or listen to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give a little bit of context, and we're going to get right to it with Lydia. CumRocket features a saying like it's never been seen before in the crypto world and bridges the gap between financial markets and adult entertainment. We're the first, Lydia states, to be introducing an exclusive, not safe for work NFT marketplace and platform with subscriptions, tipping, and crypto asset transactions with a growing ecosystem of content creators and future products planned. Now, from my audience perspective, who are both creators, but as well as very active investors, my next comment's very important. This is $100 billion and growing. Maybe that last comment's the important one, $100 billion and growing industry. And when I talk to Lydia today, you're going to learn why I think that growth curve is going to be like this. And part of that's going to play into the dynamic of men and women in today's world, as well as the growing influence of technology and the metaverse and how that's all going to come together. So Lydia, we have a lot to cover today. Why don't I begin very simply with, besides what I just said, how did you identify this need in the market? I mean, you're such a young entrepreneur. Tell us a little bit about your background. Are you a techie, a cyberpunk, an engineer? What led you down this path?
So I graduated as a software engineer not too long ago. I had about 2 years of experience in the field. I was working as a mobile app developer at the time. And then I got really into stocks and investing. And then I looked into crypto and started to get into the crypto space. And then I made my own token, and then the rest is history. I made the token, and then realized from day one that there's a huge untapped space in this field. And there was no one at the time doing the OnlyFans of crypto or any not safe for work NFTs.
And to give people some context on timing, I mean, basically, I heard about it back in April of 2021. I mean, not even like 8 or 9 months ago. Did it launch at that time, just about that time frame?
I launched on April 3rd.
That sounds about right. I remember a friend of mine in the community getting back to me, hey, Angelo, I have this new cryptocurrency since I'm very active in the crypto community. I'm like, oh yeah, like what is it? And I heard the name, and of course I couldn't help but chuckle. And then I actually did some like real diligence and work. And that's where I came up even with the $100 billion industry and growing, and looked at it as really an interesting marketplace where early on in the world of crypto, now you helped to spur competition. We'll get a little bit to that. So really lots have happened in the last couple of months. Why don't we start a little bit from a creator perspective? Why should a creator become a creator on the CumRocket platform? Describe a little bit the platform and what it offers to a creator.
Well, at the moment, we're in an NFT marketplace with a lot more to come in this year in terms of the OnlyFans features. But because of the NFT industry is just getting huge, and it's going to pay to be early in the NFT and crypto industry. And I do believe crypto is definitely the future of the adult industry with the way things are going, like with platforms shutting down due to payment processor restrictions. That's one huge advantage that crypto has, is that it can't be shut down. And also they should work to, it's just another avenue for them to monetize their content through NFTs and offer their fan base something that they've never offered them before. And they can include experiences with it, such as perks. That's what a lot of our creators do, offer perks, and also private content behind the NFT. So the best thing you can give a fan is your time. And I think that's what Gary Vee said. Gary Vee's VeeFriends NFT collection has been hugely popular, and as works in a similar way, in where the fans can get to know the creators more through the NFTs.
For sure. And I don't want to make this kind of a beginning NFTs 101. We've done plenty of interviews on that. I'm doing boot camps, including in Las Vegas, about that, and how to actually get on MetaMask and Phantom, and how to actually buy. Actually, you cannot attend that boot camp if you only intend to listen and take notes. You actually have to take action. So we're going to make the assumption you have an understanding that NFTs are here to stay. They're amazing. They give the creator tremendous control and power and influence. I would probably argue, from the advice that I give to creators, not just creating NFTs, a brand to being an influencer, but probably creating a social token as well. And it sounds like what you're evolving with on CumRocket is going to kind of, to some degree, encompass much of that, much more than maybe what it is now, which is nothing wrong, but an NFT marketplace.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to expand on all the ways the creator can offer more experiences to their fans.
And I want to kind of make very clear now, yes, could it be adult content that is quote unquote risque or nudes? The answer is yes. But it doesn't necessarily need to be, meaning I've been on the CumRocket platform and see maybe provocative lingerie, bathing suit, sometimes no face. So there's a perception that it needs to be something very 18 plus or graphic, and that is absolutely not the case. If you could maybe give a little bit of clarity of that to the audience.
Yeah, anyone can post on the CumRocket platform. We don't believe in censoring content unless it's illegal, of course. Because if you don't, such as OpenSea, they allow you to mince freely. If we have more creators on the platform, it's going to bring in more buyers overall, so the models can earn more revenue overall if there's something for everyone. We've also had a mixture of successes on the platform. One person has been selling pixel dicks, known as Picasso. He actually earned around $70,000 in the first 2 weeks of our platform launching, because our community loved it so much. And I do believe at the moment, we do have more crypto enthusiasts rather than porn enthusiasts, but this will balance over time. So that's why we've seen a big rise in the arts kind of scene. Also, we have fine artists join our platform, such as Didi ACO, who's entered the NFT scene with CumRocket. And before, he's been selling his paintings all over Europe. But he's recently dropped his NFTs on our platform. It's been a huge success. He sold 2 NFTs for $10,000 each.
Wow. And actually, that was one of my next questions. There probably is a perception from people that this must be 99% women only as creators, and that's not necessarily true. So I think you pretty much already answered that. It's a platform for men or women. And like you said, being a kind of quote unquote a decentralized platform that's not discriminatory, as long as it's legal, this creates an opportunity for a creator to be very open and connect with their audience. What would you recommend to a creator? So I guess the challenge on something like Ethereum is the gas fees. It's hard depending on the price point. But what you're describing at CumRocket, may you recommend for an early creator that they start being very consistent, maybe 1 NFT a week? They build an audience, and maybe the pricing is even $10 or $20. Do you think they should start low and build momentum and be very consistent, or should they go for the $10,000 NFTs that you described?
I think it's completely up to them what pricing they want to do. What I was mentioning by getting into the NFT scene early was mainly about education, knowing about just the NFT scene in general, that there is this whole other avenue that they can earn money with, and it's probably going to be huge in the future. Well, it's already huge now, but I mean, even more so. So it will pay for them to get the knowledge early and understand it before, so they don't get left behind.
I'm going to go on a little Angelo tangent, if you don't mind, Lydia, and I want you to jump in and participate. There is a perception from those that don't know, like, oh my God, like these are, like, I don't know, like really, quote unquote, are they bad people or doing things like, ugh. Like the majority of people that this created more opportunities, specifically for women around the world, to have an opportunity to monetize being a creator. The majority that I know that I may have met as creators or models over the years, actually, you'll be surprised. Not only are they quote unquote intelligent, they're business savvy. During COVID, a lot of them learned how to be active in crypto. They learned about NFTs. They learned about how to monetize their brand and being an influencer. And a lot of them were maybe not doing so well financially, and this created an opportunity for them. Many of them are involved in loving and happy relationships. The perception that this is kind of a like people from the low end of the track and people that are very out there from their sexual perspective. Yeah, you're going to have some of that in any industry, but that really is a big misconception. Would you agree with that?
Definitely. We've seen some proper business savvy models. We've been working with like a variety of people, and we've definitely seen that come across.
I mean, I know people that are doing incredibly well as creators in this industry. And from the work I've done, both investing in modeling agencies and being active in the communities in New York, LA, and Miami, you have to realize a vast majority of what you may consider an Instagram influencer or a model, probably I'm going to say 99% of them work really hard and probably make under $40,000 a year. Especially in modeling, it really is only the top 1% or really 1/10 of 1%. This creates an opportunity for them to not rely on agencies and intermediaries, but to take the opportunity to be a true entrepreneur and to be able to make real money. Now, is everyone going to become making 7 figures doing NFTs and social tokens? No. But could they potentially do a lot better than they're doing now? Lydia, what would you say? I've always said, and I spoke at colleges, I've done many different things to various audiences, how to be an entrepreneur, how to be successful, whether it's in the family office world, entrepreneurial investing in crypto. But in the world of a creator, they may need as few as 100 dedicated fans. So think of an NFT marketplace where you have 100, I mean, 1,000 would be nice, but let's say you have 100 dedicated fans that are willing to spend $10 or $20 a week or whatever more, maybe $50 a week on content that you're producing. In other words, you don't need to have 1 million followers on Instagram or have tens of thousands of people that follow you. You could make a living with much, much less than that.
Yeah, totally agree. And NFTs are really suited for that because it's more of a high value, well, like thing, but also experience, rather than just passively consuming their content.
Should adult creators in this industry, if they're on OnlyFans, and I'm going to make the assumption that the audience broadly is familiar with a platform like OnlyFans, should they probably augment what they're doing on something like OnlyFans with something like the NFT marketplace and growing on CumRocket?
Definitely, it's a perfect supplement to get started with NFTs, and they can offer their audience something completely different that they've not offered them before, and that's the chance to spend some time with them virtually.
I mean, my experience, and I've spoken about this before, I'm in my mid-50s. I'm not natural with technology. I got very active in crypto during COVID, like I described with, whatever models and influencers that I know as well. And I learned how to do it. Like much of us, and I'm not sure if you were the same, Lydia, we all start with Bitcoin. And Bitcoin's wonderful. Satoshi and the vision of decentralized blockchain, truly the godfather or maybe godmother of the industry. But then we if we have a little bit more oomph inside us and interest, we then get into whatever, Ethereum, Solana, Terra Luna. We learn how to use MetaMask. We learn how to use Uniswap. We start to become a little bit more degen. What I'm basically saying is if I could do it, you could do it. And don't think for a second that especially these younger creators under 25, they grew up with technology. They pick up on it like that. They learn from YouTube videos. Me, I needed a little bit more one-on-one hand-holding. But what I'm basically saying is we're heading into a completely different world, crypto and digital. And this really gives a person, an entrepreneur, an opportunity to be self-reliant, not to rely on others, and really gives them what I think is a wonderful platform. A question I have for you, by chance, are you yourself as the founder and CEO on the CumRocket platform with NFTs that you create?
Yeah, I'm releasing my NFTs on CumRocket soon. I'm just working with an editor because I want them edited really well. But I'll be releasing them soon. I've got a doll outfit. Actually, I'm not going to ruin it. You'll have to see.
We look forward to seeing. So again, for a creator, the opportunity of the NFT marketplace, for the reasons I described in Lydia, like I think it's amazing. And you have to learn, but there's ways that you can exponentially speed up your learning. And really just my experience is stop talking about it and researching it and just damn do it. Take action. You may mess it up. Maybe you mess up a transaction. You'll eventually learn a lesson and get it right. From an investor perspective, we're going to get to that later, but you would want to invest in the token, which is known as Cummies of CumRocket. And yes, I did go through the process. We're going to catch up a little bit on that later. What I want to talk a little bit about effectively, this is a little bit of a sensitive topic. How could I go about this? That market that I mentioned is going to grow like this. So I hinted at it earlier. I mean, right now, we have, I think, a lack of personal interaction with whatever, men and women. We have, I'm going to use the word more simps in the world than ever before. So the opportunity is specifically, I think, for a woman to create revenue with 50, 100, or 200 so-called fans has probably been, it's never been easier. It's a little sad in some ways that we're in a situation where arguably the world is like that. And you think this is going to get better? Absolutely not. It's becoming more digital. We're about to get way better VR, way better metaverse. This is all going to transition and grow. Would you broadly agree, Lydia?
Yeah, I agree with that. Technology is definitely the future. And with this metaverse stuff, we're definitely living with technology like properly.
Yeah, I mean, I have views, I guess you could say, on interpersonal male and female dynamics that probably are a little bit antiquated, a little bit based on probably ancestral roots that I think are natural and native to my feelings and how I feel. So am I going to be a participant from like an OnlyFans or something like that? I would say absolutely not. Like, you're kidding me. But do I see an opportunity in NFTs from an art perspective? I'm an investor. I like art. I think not safe for work. Let me say this. This relates to what I just said. I can make the point that not safe for work NFTs may be recession-proof. What I mean by that, don't take that too literally. It's more figuratively. What I mean by that is through COVID lockdowns, through more and more men, quote unquote, I think being simps, I think it's more of an opportunity for they do have some cash flow. They want to spend it. This is an industry, it's been proving during COVID, that has exploded. Now, is it recession-proof in the true definition of the word? I don't know if anything is, but I find it very, very intriguing. This is an industry that's not going to go away. It's going to grow, and it has some degree of COVID and recession-proof. What would you add to that, Lydia?
I completely agree. It's definitely COVID-proof. We saw the creators earning skyrocket during COVID, and I think OnlyFans earned more than they ever have during the pandemic. So that just only proves that theory more. Yeah, I just completely agree with that.
Now, there's one thing that I think was a big boost to you guys, and I know you underplayed a little bit, and I understand, but early in the summer, only what, maybe a month or two in, a pretty famous person did a tweet. So what did you think when Daddy Elon Musk, of course, tweeted about Cummies to the moon?
It was insane. He first tweeted Canada, USA, Mexico, and we couldn't work out if that was directed at us or not. And but it made us spike anyway. And then we went to sleep. And then in the morning at like 6 a.m., my mum woke me up like, Elon's tweeted about you properly. I was like, no way. He actually said like CumRocket or something. So then I opened my phone and then I opened Twitter. Then I started shaking. I was like, oh my God, he actually tweeted CumRocket to the moon. I ran upstairs, saw the chart. I was like, oh my God, what's happening? and then I was like, I was just in the chats all day with my community, like in Telegram and Discord, just like hyping with everyone. It was a really good day. Everyone was so happy.
Someone sent in a text, and I think they wanted to provoke me a little bit, and it's okay. And I often, from participants as opposed to chats, get texts that come in. No, I look, and basically they're saying like, how do you feel about investing in Cummies and CumRocket and possibly being a participant as I'm more and more active in NFTs? How do I feel? I feel great about it. And I'm going to tell you why, which I already hinted at. It gives the creator an opportunity to monetize. They're not even necessarily meeting or interacting. They're monetizing, and that's good for them. It gives them money to be free, to be entrepreneurs, to not rely on government, to pay taxes, and to be a good contributor to society. What adults do that are above 18 or whatever the legal age is in a country is completely their own business. Being a libertarian, yeah, I'm probably conservative on less government involvement, less regulation. And no, I hate taxes. I don't like them at all. But I believe from a social perspective, basically people should be free to do what they want to do. This creates an opportunity for them to be less reliant on others and to be a contributor to society, including taxes. From an investor perspective, this is great. I think it's a tremendous opportunity. We already mentioned COVID and recession-proof. Now, again, I don't know if CumRocket and other companies are going to make it long-term. Who knows? I have no idea. But do I think it's an interesting industry that strictly from an investor perspective, active in crypto and NFTs? Yes, I am absolutely very interested. So hopefully I answered your question there from that perspective. Why don't we get a little bit technical? And I promise we'll bounce out of it and get to from the investor perspective. Why did you choose to have taxes and reflections on the BSC platform? I don't know how deep you want to get into the 2.5% and the burnt and all that, but we do have some cyberpunks that are on. So why don't you give maybe a little bit of an explanation of your reasoning behind that?
Well, I think 2.5% burn, 2.5% reflection is a very fair tax structure. A lot of these tokens do 10%, and I think that's just way too much.
Absolutely. You're way better than them. Now, I know we got a little technical there for some people, but basically, you know, these early stage tokens like this, especially on platforms like we're describing, like sometimes they really do rip off the end consumer. And what Lydia did with kind of effectively the 2.5 plus the 2.5, that's way lower than the vast majority of them. So I think you did a great job with that. And as an investor, I do appreciate it.
Yeah, some tokens I won't enter because I see the 10%, and then I think they've got to literally move 10% up just to even break even, and then it's the 10% sell tax as well. So it's actually 20% to break even, and it's just too much. But the tax is there as an incentive to hold largely.
True. How many CumRocket crypto, aka Cummies, are there in circulation?
I think there's about 1.2 billion at the moment circulating supply.
Could you talk a little bit about Cummies being burnt and about is more going to be released as time goes by?
No, there's no mint function. So, and it's a deflationary token. So every single transaction, buy, sell, or transfer will decrease the supply, making each Cummie that built value more valuable.
Do you use IPFS or are we for storage of the NFTs that creators mint?
We use IPFS.
That's what I would think. And it's better on pricing and probably a better fit relative for what you guys are doing overall. How is the CumRocket crypto network secured?
So we've been audited by Solidity Finance and passed our flying colors. We're on the Binance Smart Chain network. So we've not built our own blockchain or anything like that. We're using an existing blockchain.
Why did you choose the BSC blockchain? Is it strictly only on fees being low, or is there other reasons?
It's mainly the fees, the low fees. That's the biggest advantage, but also fast transactions.
And of course, now I'll give you a layup because, again, you help to spur competitors in the industry, which I could argue brings greater awareness to the industry and more people from creators and investors involved. So it's not necessarily a negative. But why is CumRocket, let's go with 10x better than XXX Nifty?
Well, firstly, we're female-led, which can help to instill a lot of trust in the industry. The adult industry, some of it is predatory historically. So having a female lead can help with that. We also work directly with creators, and our creators will always have a say in the future of CumRocket. So they help us with development features and voice their opinions on that. We also focus on perks and private media rather than just selling an NFT. We sell more of an experience. So you can actually unlock private content on our site, but that's behind an NFT. We also focus on education with our CumRocket Academy videos. Education is a huge part of this in increasing adoption. And soon we'll have a section on our site that's dedicated to education for creators or potential creators mainly. Also, we're going to have more ways to earn. We're not just going to be an NFT marketplace.
Will you ever add streaming and compete with companies like Cummies?
Well, streaming's not on our priority list, but potentially in the future, we'd have to look into the feasibility of it. But we do think there's a lot more potential in the way we're heading right now. We went into the NFTs first because no one was doing that at the time. So we went in there to make sure we could dominate that market first and offer something different rather than just being an OnlyFans or a streaming platform, which has already been done before, because places like OpenSea don't allow adult content. So this is offering something completely unique. And we're actually the leader, I believe, in terms of sales, creators, and users.
For sure. And, it was comical, I'm going to go with, a couple of months ago when OnlyFans said they were strongly thinking about getting rid of quote unquote not safe for work content. Basically, that's a way of saying the company would say goodbye because their revenues would disappear. That probably created interest among organizations like yours because like, ooh, this is going to be a great marketplace, but they got wise and they changed their mind. Is there some concern, given they're relatively a big organization broadly in the community, that they may now start to get involved in NFTs and whatever social tokens or recommending as such to their creators, et cetera? How are you going to compete? And how do you be an entrepreneur competing against larger companies?
They could do that if they want, but at the end of the day, I've heard a lot of creators say that they've got a subpar product, it's full of bugs, for one. And I think the main problem with OnlyFans is that they have no user discoverability. That's the main thing we want to do with CumRocket, is so that any creator, no matter how small they are, can get big on our platform. Because with OnlyFans, you've got to market yourself on other platforms. You can't just sit there on OnlyFans and expect to get big. But on our platform, we want to have a lot of personalization features and like recommendations. So if Reddit, OnlyFans, and OpenSea came together, Reddit's got a really good trending post system.
I mean, I kind of hinted at it earlier. It's going to go back a little bit to the creator, then we'll get involved, although we already have to some degree from an investor perspective. Let's just assume all the millions of people around the world that use something like IG, meaning Instagram and other platforms, and we use the verbiage Instagram model. A lot of them are quote unquote regular everyday people, whatever, a waitress or receptionist, whatever it might be. But they might have 20, 30, 40, 100,000, 300,000 followers. Let's just be blunt and direct. They're usually going to be attractive younger women. And they're on Instagram now. This is really, and they're basically making nothing. Maybe they have a little bit of a store, they sell some merch, maybe they pull in, I don't know, $100, $1,000 a month. It's not much. I mean, basically this platform that you're describing is a way for them, and they don't even need to do nudes like we just discussed. It's an opportunity for them to create with their fans an experience and create NFTs, which is not that hard to learn how to do. Again, I learned how to do it, and I could certainly help to teach others. But the opportunity for them to, again, monetize, become entrepreneurs, become self-sufficient, be a contributor, not just to society, but pay taxes. I mean, this is like a win-win-win for everyone. Are only the early adopters going to win? I'm kind of surprised that more, let's go with the word Instagram influencers, haven't gotten involved so far.
I just think a lot of people haven't got involved so far because they don't know about it yet. It's just still so early, but it's such a good thing we're so early still. And I do believe adoption will be exponential.
So, and she's probably going to watch this video, but I did meet with someone, I'm not going to give her name, and I've met with multiple people actually, where I do bring up, I mean, you got 50, 60, $100,000 followers on Instagram. Have you ever heard of it? And they're doing things that are pushing the envelope, quote unquote, a little bit. And yes, I do bring up your company, like, hey, I have Cummies, a company called CumRocket. Here's what they do. First of all, none of them have heard of it. Now, again, it's a relatively newer industry. You guys are well under a year old, so none of this is surprising. They all chuckle initially at, of course, the name and how it's spelt and all that. But then I, with a straight face, I mean, I give them, I mean, I should be like a paid spokesman for CumRocket. I basically give them like a 1 or 2 minute pitch, and they're like, oh, like, tell me more. What's the website? What's the Twitter? Who should I follow? How can I learn more? I mean, again, from a creator and an investor perspective, I just find it very, very intriguing. Is PORNROCKET more of a competitor to OnlyFans than CumRocket?
Certainly not. We've gone the NFT route just so we can dominate this part of the market, but this year we're focusing on OnlyFans features as well, but they don't have the same aspirations we do, and we're definitely working on things that are more advanced at CumRocket. We've also got the first mover advantage, and also their team is completely anonymous apart from like one person, I think, which isn't helpful for creator trust.
Let's talk a little bit from the investor perspective. So how I initially got involved back in the spring of 2021, I heard about it. I did a little bit of research. I mean, come on, everyone, as an investor, at the end of the day, how much research are you really going to do? You're probably making relatively a modest investment. George Soros said, I'm not sure I perfectly agree, but invest now and investigate later. Depending on your sizing, if it's a couple of hundred to a couple of $1,000s, I mean, you got to move quick in the world of crypto. You got to take action. So the token is known as Cummies. Talk a little bit about the process, because some in my audience are going to think, oh, well, let me just, and I'm talking US people here, it's going to be easier around the world. But like, let me just go on Coinbase or FTX US and I'm going to get these Cummies. No, you're not. Partially due to the stigma of the company name and the earlier stage of the token, it's not quite that easy. Talk a little bit about the process for an investor to be involved, even for a modest amount of money, getting Cummies. What process would they go through? What exchanges is it on? How could they use MetaMask? How could they use wraps around Binance? So let's get a little bit technical.
Firstly, the terminology around investment is incorrect because we're not a security, but we are a utility token. People can buy the Cummies utility token if they so wish on Gate.io and decentralized exchanges such as PancakeSwap.
PancakeSwap, yes, that's going to be the one that I used going back to the spring. But again, this is a little bit more complicated than a US person just going on Coinbase or FTX or Voyager. Around the world, many of you have much more freedoms on exchanges to get some really unique stuff. We're a little bit more hand-tied, unfortunately, here in the US. So you do have to learn how to use things like various, MetaMask, and understand the Binance chain and how to go on PancakeSwap. Again, I learned how to do it. If you put in the effort and the time, you could learn and you could do it. Or again, for my members and people that I consult with, I could specifically be more hands-on and help them. Is there any way for a larger investor, more of like a family office level, how could they be involved? Are you raising any capital? Is there a way for them to get involved in larger token economics? Would there be any suggestions or ideas that you would have?
Yeah, we recently did a private sale of $100,000 in stablecoin for a private sale. So we could do options like that, but we're also looking at raising venture capital this year.
Okay, I mean, those are all things because you want to pounce on the marketplace. You obviously struck a chord for reasons that I think I went over already. There's lots of opportunity here. So yeah, that's a bit of a trade-off, I guess you could say, as an entrepreneur. It might be related to that question, but a question came in from a participant. What percentage of the supply do you, Lydia, own?
Well, as a team, we have the biggest wallet because with the team, that team wallet is used for development funds and funds to run the company. We started out with about 10% of the circulating supply, and that's gone down a bit now as the time goes on, because we're like 8 months in now, I think.
Yeah, like it's only been like 8 or 9 months. I mean, that's pretty amazing in terms of what you've been able to accomplish so far. Is from, I guess, some of the coin market cap and stuff like that. I mean, Cummies has probably grown pretty significantly. Do you think it could one day, sooner rather than later, be a top 100 token?
I definitely do think that, because there's just such a big potential. There's such big potential in this industry, crypto and adult, and it literally just feels like this is the perfect use case for crypto. I can't think of another use case where it's so suited, considering like all the recent platform shutdowns, etc.
Yeah, I mean, this goes to questions that I get as well. Angelo, I'm putting my foot into crypto. Yeah, I mean, you're going to come across, obviously, some of the big ones from obviously Bitcoin, Ethereum, now Solana. Solana would not have been on that list only about 10 or 12 months ago. So it's amazing how some have grown so significantly. But if you're doing some moonshots with a part of your portfolio, those companies already have big market caps. I mean, maybe you could do a multiple, maybe over 5 or 10 years, they could do pretty good. But you all hear stories about people getting these crazy multiples. That's probably not going to happen once you kind of know about it and it's big already on an exchange. You have to get involved early. There's risk in that. But just look at some of the metrics behind the industry that we're discussing, and I think it's a very interesting opportunity. Maybe on that note, before we head to a close and how people could reach out to you, follow you, and learn more, I'll give a little bit of a disclaimer from my perspective. So again, I'm really enjoying the discussion with Lydia. I'm definitely a fan and a believer in what they're doing from both a creator and an investor perspective. But from an investor, and my terminology in terms of buying into the Cummies token, you have to understand everyone has a different risk tolerance. These are definitely what I would still call more moonshot crypto. So there is going to be lots of volatility. You have to understand that, and absolutely some risk when you involve yourself in tokens. You could do very well, you could do okay, and hello, you could maybe lose everything. So you have to effectively make your own decisions, think for yourself, do your due diligence. With me, a lot of that revolves around things that are a little bit more aggressive and volatile. Just in my sizing, it's very, very modest. If it goes to nothing, it goes to nothing. Then I make a decision whether to run with it or to buy more if it starts to go up. So that's just my opinion. You make your own decision. And by the way, we're doing this very early January of 2022. You may watch this in 6 months or a year and things are completely different. Like, who knows? This is for fun. This is for entertainment purposes. And we hope you have a chance to enjoy it basically for what it is. Lydia, and we may have one or two more questions come in before we wrap up, but why don't we, how could people follow you and CumRocket on Twitter? And if you have any other information or resources where they could learn more, I think they would enjoy that.
So our main CumRocket social is on Twitter at CumRocket Crypto. You could follow me on Twitter at Lydia Lane with 2 Ds, or on TikTok at Lydia Lane.
Excellent. And is there a, I mean, I know it's the crypto world, so it's different, but is there a foundation, a website, a .io, something where they could learn more about crypto that you would recommend?
Well, the CumRocket website is cumrocket.io, and we're going to be uploading to our YouTube regularly educational videos. We already have some academy videos on there about things like what is the blockchain, what is crypto, etc. And we'll be continuing to upload there.
I mean, I keep on apparently getting either text or chats relative to kind of the same theme, like effectively, you know, Angelo, this is a little bit quote unquote risque. I mean, really, that depends on everyone's perspectives. You're putting your social moral values in the place of others. And again, I'm going to repeat, this is a tremendous opportunity for creators, they become entrepreneurs, they become self-sufficient. They're not reliant on the government from multiple different perspectives, and they're also taxpayers. From an investing perspective, it absolutely is interesting for the reasons that I know it, a growing industry, one that is a little bit COVID and recession-proof for the reasons that I noted. I don't want to keep on pounding them. I think I hit them pretty hard already, and that's probably going to get me flack from men. What do you mean you're calling us simps? We could have that discussion at a different time. And by the way, buying art from an NFT collection perspective, I absolutely think that simply is just an investing perspective. Who knows? Suppose that creator, that artist becomes famous. It's an opportunity for you to be an early adapter. I think what a lot of people miss out with, Lydia, with the NFT marketplace, let's even forget the economics of it, that whatever, you may lose money, you may break even, you may do well. Maybe my final question, like, you're buying into a community of that creator. You're buying into the community of other owners of that creator's NFT. Right now, we're seeing people like Gary Vee talking about opening up a restaurant in New York where you can't get in that restaurant unless you're an NFT holder. Imagine hosting yacht parties, hosting home parties, a variety of different things that these creators could do for their communities, where it's the sense of bond and belonging to something that you have in common. If you want to maybe put a little bit of a bow on that and wrap it up, I think that'll be a good way to end the discussion.
Definitely. Like, imagine if you bought into Belle Delphine's NFT before she got famous. That would be insane. So that's technically what you could do with here. You're buying into a creator's career. Yes.
Yes. I mean, that's basically what you're doing. And you're participating in a community with the creator and the other believers within that creator, and what that creator could do in terms of hosting events and functions and parties and dinners and opening up businesses or private clubs where, again, you need to be an NFT holder. If all you think that NFTs are is digital art, and by the way, if that's all it was, that wouldn't be half bad. The art market's incredible. Like everything, analog to digital, it's probably not going to go as much back to analog. It's probably going to stay digital and grow. So if it's nothing more than digital art, that to me is impressive, but it is so much more than that. So much more. Begin to actually wake up, open up your mind, learn about the tremendous potential within NFTs from a community perspective, from a tokenization perspective. We could go on and on about Web3, blockchain, NFTs, and how that all kind of ties in, but we could maybe save that for a different discussion. Lydia, you've been a great guest. I appreciate your time. I look forward to following you and CumRocket, and having you on in the future is you become an even bigger star. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been great.
Thank you, Lydia. And I'm going to do a little close for my audience. Yeah, this was a little bit of a different discussion today. I don't mind pushing the envelope. Supposedly the family office world is quote unquote, this is a little different than what they're used to. And I understand. I had to give it some consideration as well. But I think for the reasons I described, from the benefits of a creator in society, as well as an investing perspective, I don't want to be the one who edits content for you. You're an adult. You make your own decisions in terms of what you're going to do. And I don't want to be the one that's censoring. Maybe that's the word I was looking for. You make your own decisions. Everyone, I'm Angelo Robles, host of the Angelo Robles podcast on Apple and Spotify. My YouTube platform, which is my biggest of my more visual platforms with my videos, is simply Family Office on YouTube. That's my dog in the background. She's a very big Cane Corso, I might add. It must be the mailman that came. So definitely follow us at Family Office on YouTube. I'm very active on social media. Angelo Robles Meta, META, on Instagram, where I have a very active Instagram profile and platform and talk a lot about crypto. And I'm active on really all the platforms, Twitter and LinkedIn. So you'll figure it out, and maybe you'll want to attend one of our NFT boot camps as I'm off to Vegas. We'll do others in Miami, New York, and LA. And again, the boot camps are really focused around not as much education, that's a part of it. You bring your laptop, you bring your cell phone. If you don't have MetaMask, you'll get it. If you don't have Phantom, you'll get it. You'll learn about it. You'll go on these platforms. You'll actually do it, and you'll actually purchase. I don't care if it's a $50 NFT. You'll get the experience of doing it that will make you more confident moving forward and understanding the technology and how it can impact you, because everything that you know is changing. What you knew, it's like you can't just stay static. You have to adapt. Everything, I was going to say everything you know is coming to an end. That would be maybe a little too drastic, but look at the changes you're going to see in the next 10 years. And blockchain, Web3, crypto token economics, and NFTs are going to be a massive part of that. On that note, everyone, goodbye. Lydia, it's great to see you. Look forward to next time. Thank you.
Thank you.